Hey everyone, Daniel and Chris here from IGN. Now, if you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy, you really should because it's quite awesome. Watch this video at your own peril because we're going to be talking spoilers and revealing the post-credit sequence. Now, they haven't screened the post-credit sequence for critics when we went to see the film for review. What is it?
Yeah, well, I've literally just raced from the cinema because we've gone to see the first public screening of it in the UK. And yeah, stuck around to the end, and right at the end of the credits, I'll set the scene. It's the Collector. Now, in the film, he was last time we saw him, he was kind of blown up.
Yeah.
So, but not dead. So it's him kind of sitting in a chair, battered and bruised, drinking from a green martini glass, and the Russian space dog that was spotted in the film. Yeah, Cosmo, he comes over and licks him in the face, and then you hear from off camera, kind of quite a thick New York accent, someone saying, "What did you let you lick him like that for? Gross." And the camera pans, and it's Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck. That is the post-credit sequence in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Sitting there in a little red suit and tie, and his little webbed feet kind of going like that. It's funny. It's awesome.
Okay, so lots of things to talk about here.
Yeah.
Right, what do you want to do first? I think kind of in keeping with the spirit of Guardians of the Galaxy being quite out there, they've not introduced one of the more iconic Marvel heroes they haven't done. Like, there's lots of speculation, because we haven't seen it, that it might have been casting news for Doctor Strange.
Well, you were convinced it was going to be casting for Doctor Strange. I know you're disappointed.
Convinced, we just really wanted to know who Doctor Strange was. And I thought that's maybe why they kept it back.
But equally, we know the next two films are Ant-Man and Age of Ultron, so it could have been a moment from one of those. Like, it could have been a character reveal from one of them. So yeah, they're normally used to set up a villain or a hero or the next movie, whereas this, it's none of those things really. What does it mean? I don't know. It could just be James Gunn paying tribute to a character that he loves. It could be that he's going to get his own spin-off movie. You know, there's a lot of Marvel movies lined up for the next 5 years.
Do you think that's viable?
I do. Now, obviously, there has been a Howard the Duck movie in 1986. I've seen it. You haven't.
Sometimes you don't want to remake the greats, though.
I think it's best that you don't see it. It's not a brilliant movie. It's got Leah Thompson, Jeffrey Jones, Tim Robbins in. I saw it a couple of times back then and hated it even as an 8-year-old. It just doesn't work. It's kind of neither an adult's film or a kid's film.
Right, okay.
But he's a really cool character, and I think what suddenly makes you think it could be done is the way Rocket Raccoon is in this movie, where he's treated with real respect and care. He's funny, but a serious character, and Howard the Duck's the same thing. He's not, he's a wisecracking duck that smokes cigars, but equally he's got kind of a tragic story behind him, and so there's no reason.
You think there's room to almost do more of an offbeat? You know, like use a comics tone, like a one-shot. Yeah, he's connected to this bigger universe, but they do it as this kind of weird standalone movie.
Or, I don't know, is there a way that he could join the Guardians of the Galaxy, become one of those guys?
Well, he has formed teams in the comics before. I think in Fear itself, the recent cross-universe event, he formed his own superhero team. I'd
like to see him and Rocket actually go at it with each other and have a fight or something like that. That would be fun.
A few more questions, I think. Yeah. Are you disappointed that was the cross-credit sequence or not?
I don't put too much value on them, so personally, it was really cool, nice and it was totally unexpected, which is funny because having paid some attention watching it the second time, he actually appears earlier in the film. They ruin it for themselves, but we actually saw it and didn't spot it. So
is he in the Collector's?
The first time the Collector's introduced to the Guardians, not the first time we see him, but the first time he's introduced to them, and Benicio del Toro turns around. In that moment, you can see in a box, in a crate, suspended from the ceiling behind him, it's clearly Howard the Duck. But because your attention's on the foreground.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff going on in that room anyway.
Yeah, it's just funny that no one spotted it. Yeah, no one that's seen the film so far has spotted it because the news would be out there. So, yeah, they actually do the reveal a bit earlier on in the movie.
And there's not a second sequence or anything like that. Sometimes there's two.
Yeah, well, this is what we were wondering, that if there would be two. The print I saw, which is the first print, went to the Empire Leicester Square cinema. There was only one. So whether there's maybe next week or in other screenings there's going to be two, at the moment that's all we've seen. But obviously we'll do another story if there is a second post-credit sequence that does, have a nibble at something else. But
awesome. Well, that's the post-credit tag on Guardians of the Galaxy. For everything Guardians of the Galaxy, stay right here on IGN.